Washington, D.C. is in for a treat with their new offense under Jayden Daniels. Remember the 2021 Arizona Cardinals? Their head coach, Cliff Kingsbury, who is now Washington's offensive coordinator, coached the team to a 7-0 start, and only their defense's failures caused them to collapse by the end of the season. The offense was top 5 in passing efficiency and top 5 in scoring, and Kyler Murray had a career year as a passer that led him to sign his 5-year, $230 million extension. Since Kingsbury's 2022 was an utter failure, he's had time to learn from those mistakes and try to beat out his own tendencies, and as the offensive coordinator in the nation's capital, he can focus on recreating the dominant 2021 Arizona Cardinals he boasted with a new young quarterback who could be the Kyler Murray he only could have dreamed of. Jayden Daniels has certainly not had a smooth ride to the first round. Although he was the #1 dual-threat quarterback in the nation coming out of high school, Daniels ended up going to Arizona State as a part of a very talented core of future NFL stars such as Brandon Ayuk. After a stellar freshman year in 2019, Daniels suffered through the 2020 season before taking a big step back in what became his second full season in 2021, throwing as many touchdowns as interceptions and seeing a big dip in production. After 2021, Jayden Daniels took his talents to LSU through the transfer portal, taking a leap from low-level Pac-12 play to the SEC. He immediately found himself again, nearly matching career highs in passing yards, touchdowns, and QB rating, while setting new highs in completion percentage, rushing yards, and rushing touchdowns. 2022 Jayden Daniels finally was having fun, not only passing like a premier quarterback, but finally realizing his rushing potential. And that's what makes his transfer to LSU so important in his progression to being a first-round quarterback. Remember how Daniels was the #1 dual-threat quarterback in his recruiting class? His best season at ASU basically ignored his legs. As passing declined in Phoenix, he began to receive more carries, but it was only at LSU that his legs were matched with stellar play under center. Being a dual-threat quarterback is a delicate balance, and a player's ability to walk the line between facilitating the passing game and being a schemed rushing threat is a major factor in deciding their prospect status. While a running quarterback can be deadly, it's not worth trading in tons of passing production for a little bit of rushing production. Let's play a game to illustrate the point. Congrats! You just got hired as an NFL GM. Your first task is to draft a quarterback based off his college stat line. You've narrowed it down to 2 contenders. The first one is a stud in the pocket, putting up 2,944 yards, 17 touchdowns to just 3 interceptions, and 8.7 yards per throw for a 149.2 rating. He isn't a statue back there either, accumulating 355 yards and 3 touchdowns with his legs. The other is a true rushing threat. He threw for just 2,380 yards and 10 touchdowns to 10 interceptions for a 136.2 rating, but he ran for 710 yards and 6 touchdowns. Which would you pick? For NFL success, the first option is much more viable. That difference was 2019 Daniels in his freshman year versus 2021 Daniels before he transferred. The magic, however, is that as soon as he got to LSU, Daniels put both the passing production of 2019 and the improved rushing performance of 2021 in 2022. Then he decided he would just keep getting better. In 2023, Daniels absolutely exploded. En route to his Heisman Trophy, Daniels threw for 3,812 yards, averaging 11.7 yards per attempt, 40 touchdowns to just 4 interceptions, had a 208 rating, ran for over 1,000 yards, and 10 touchdowns. While statistics don't measure future NFL performance, the sheer talent increase for Daniels is made clear by just how much better he got on the stat sheet. His breakthrough campaign launched him all the way to the 2nd overall pick, and that kid Jayden is the heir to the new era of Washington football. Daniels' massive 2023 does come with some drawbacks. Historically, quarterbacks who take a massive step forward later in their collegiate career don't typically have breakthroughs in the NFL. The NFL has plenty of recent examples of late bloomers in college, and let's take a look at 2 of the most recent first-round quarterbacks who had massive pre-draft years. First, the success story of Joe Burrow. Despite early struggles, Burrow's dominance on the 2019 LSU team was absolutely remarkable. His talent on tape was certainly NFL ready, and he immediately stepped up as a franchise quarterback in Cincinnati. His breakthrough had him jump from a middling college quarterback to NFL star, and that was apparent in his run to the national championship. The other example lies in Kenny Pickett. Although he steadily improved in college, his final year at Pitt was a huge breakout that brought him all the way to the first round. His tape, however, left much to be desired, as he could still best be described as mediocre. Beating up on ACC competition just wasn't the same as Burrow's dominance in the SEC, and Pickett brought the exact same quarterback play into the NFL. For Pickett to be a first rounder, the expectation was that he was going to continue to improve, but he already had his moment, and he's stuck in a cycle of losing his job to other struggling quarterbacks. Late bloomers have to take the jump to the NFL level, as you're going to get to the exact same quarterback regardless of the situation. If we never see quarterbacks really take big jumps forward twice, that breakthrough season is crucial in deciding their NFL fate because they have to be pro-ready. So was Daniels' jump good enough to signal NFL success, or did Washington fall for the allure of Daniels' Heisman stats and make a grave mistake? Daniels' tape is littered with veteran reads. With 5 years' experience, Daniels reads fields quickly, getting the ball where it needs to go. He shows flashes of elite eye discipline, looking away defenders to open up throwing lanes. His pre-snap abilities to know exactly where to throw makes him deadly, showing a willingness to effectively throw in the middle of the field. He understands defensive schemes, tearing coverages apart, and using leverage to help his receivers. Daniels is extremely effective deep as well, which, when combined with his pre-snap reads, can lead to a very versatile deep attack. His accuracy is fantastic deep, and he projects to be one of the NFL's better deep ball passers in the league. Despite his strength deep, he still knows to take what the defense gives him. Daniels progresses through his reads well, utilizing the flat to keep the passing game moving and avoiding big negative plays. When plays fall apart, Daniels also has the high-end playmaking ability that can change a franchise. He has great pocket presence, keeping his eyes up to find a hole in the defense, and under pressure, Daniels continues to thrive, which is a great sign for his transition to the NFL, especially in Washington. Daniels does struggle from occasional accuracy issues from trying to move too fast through his throwing motion. That inconsistency didn't impact his great production, but does need to get ironed out before week 1. His velocity also lags behind fellow top prospects as he can't quite place the same zip on the ball that others can. Those issues are minor, but are key to understanding how Daniels profiles as a day 1 starter in the NFL. All of that film analysis doesn't even include his running ability, and his rushing should be seen as a side dish rather than the main course. He is an actual ground threat, but he's not going to resemble 2019 Lamar Jackson. Instead, he'll look a lot more like this year's Lamar, a pass-first distributor who keeps defense honest with his legs. Daniels' strengths are primarily as a passer, and Washington would be foolish to give him an RG3 treatment and make him a dedicated rusher. To analyze NFL prospects, I devised a simple film-based scoring system. The scores don't take into consideration upside or likeliness to succeed, but just how the prospects stack up solely on film. The system has been used since 2021, and Jayden Daniels fits in well due to his experience in college football. The scoring breaks down as 1 point for size, 10 points for arm strength, 10 for accuracy, 5 for anticipation, 15 for reads in the mental game, 4 for simple fundamentals, and 5 for running ability. As a tall but lanky quarterback, Daniels gets a .75 for size, and his aforementioned arm strength questions lead him to scoring just a 7. With inconsistencies throwing the ball, he also scores a 7 in accuracy, although Daniels is typically a very accurate passer. With so much experience and strong pre-snap reads, Daniels scores a 4.5 for anticipation, as he often knows exactly where to go with the ball. His fundamentals score a 3 as well, as those accuracy issues are predicated on inconsistencies when throwing the ball and rushing through the motions. Finally, as a true rushing threat, Daniels gets a 5, as he's in the upper echelon of rushing quarterbacks. Overall, Daniels came together to be an 80.5 grade out of 100, placing him second all-time, only behind the generational Trevor Lawrence, who was miles ahead of him. Although he is, on film, the best quarterback of the class, scoring 2.5 points ahead of Caleb Williams, it's important to note that Daniels will likely not improve at all for the rest of his career, whereas quarterbacks like Williams and Drake May have a significantly higher ceiling than their college film grades would indicate. Since he will likely be the same product he was in college in the NFL, it's exciting to see him score so highly, And now the question is whether or not those skills will fit well in the nation's capital. With Daniels' experience in college, Washington is banking on him immediately leading the offense. With Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, and fellow rookie Luke McCaffrey set to be the starting 3 wide receivers, as well as Ben Stinnett and Zach Ertz as a tight end platoon, and Austin Eckler as a pass-catching option from the backfield, Daniels has a couple options that may be able to scrape together an effective passing game. McLaurin will be the surefire wide receiver 1, playing a DeAndre Hopkins role, and if Jahan Dotson can get back to his 2022 rookie season, Daniels will have a few fast, versatile players to keep defenses on their toes. The main issue, however, is the offensive line. Although PFF ranks Washington's pass blocking 15th in the league, the actual ability to keep Jayden Daniels upright is questionable. The new front office of Washington properly addressed their interior needs by signing center Tyler Biadasz, and with having Sam Cosmi establish himself as one of the NFL's best guards last year, and third-rounder Brown and Coleman likely becoming a solid guard as well, the interior line is set. The tackles, however, are ghastly, and Daniels' ability to adjust to the NFL depends almost entirely on the performance of the tackle position. Brandon Coleman, Cornelius Lucas, Andrew Wiley, and a few other depth pieces are competing for starting roles, and that battle will determine Washington's 2024 outlook. If the tackles can play to a serviceable level, Daniels will likely find himself as the future of Washington football and contend for Rookie of the Year. If the pressure continues to get to Daniels, which happened all throughout last year to Sam Howell, he likely won't be able to find any sacks quickly.